Hi, I'm Dr. Cynthia Clark. I'm an acupuncture physician, an applied clinical nutritionist. I'm an applied kinesiologist. I'm the president of Longevity Wellness, and I'm also the creator of Energy Evolution. And back in 2000, I was living in the mountain town of Colorado Springs. Beautiful, pristine air, and I was hiking Pikes Peak for the first time with a buddy of mine who had come from sea level. We weren't moving fast, but we were moving. We had on full packs. This was the first time that I climbed Pikes Peak. And our plan was that we were going to climb up to a place called Bar Camp, and we were going to stash our packs there. We were going to summit without the heavy packs, with all of our sleeping gear and tents and everything. And then we were going to come back down the next day. And that's exactly what we did. Bar Camp is a permanent camp on the way up Pikes Peak, and there are volunteers that take turns living there for several months of the year, and it's totally very off the grid. It's an amazing experience. So anyway, so here I am hiking up our trail with my buddy and with our heavy packs on. And I'd only been in Colorado for, I don't know, less than 6 months. And so my lungs weren't greatly acclimated, and my buddy had come from sea level a few days before. Unbeknownst to me, he was detoxing from Dr. Pepper, I believe it was. So he was going through caffeine withdrawal and had some altitude sickness. So anyway, so here we are, and we're trucking along, and we're just enjoying the beauty, right? We're just enjoying it all, even though it's tough. And as we're hiking up, this gentleman, late 60s, maybe 70s, no pack, just a walking stick, cruises right on past us like we are standing still. And we're just watching this guy, and I'm like, that guy does this all the time. He lives out here. I'm hiking it for the first time. I hiked Pikes Peak just about every year that I lived in Colorado, in different ways. I didn't always, that was the only year that I did it that way. But this gentleman was this living example of, here's what you can do with persistence over time. Here's what you can do if you just keep doing it. He was a hardy fellow, right? And he was strong, he was capable, he was determined, and he was really healthy. And he zoomed by me. Now, here it is, a little over 20 years later, and I live in a place where there aren't the pointy things anymore, but there's plenty of horizontal things. So here I do the horizontal things, which has translated into triathlon for me. And that is a competition that starts with a swim, because the swim is the most dangerous part, and you don't want to do that when you're the most tired, because more accidents that way. Followed by a bike, the second most dangerous part, followed by a run. If you're super tired on the run and you fall over, then you just splat, and no major injuries here. So in a few days, I'm going to be participating in my third Ironman competition. And I've been thinking about my why, and I wanted to share that with you because it's a lot of time and energy. It's a lot of focus, and everyone in my circle, including my clients, end up supporting me. Either intentionally or kind of unintentionally. I'm out of the office for a little while, and so people have to wait to see me, and I'm really, really grateful for that they would wait for me. So why? Why do I do this? I mean, one can just go for a walk, right? Walks are pretty healthy. Runs are even healthier, and that's super easy, and you can do it from your front door. There's so many healthy things to do and so many great ways to do them. One of my favorite authors is Dr. George Sheehan, who is a cardiologist marathoner who wrote prolifically in the 70s and 80s. And he talks about the importance of sport. So here's this brilliant guy, cardiologist, right? He talks about the importance of sport. Speaking of support, actually one of my clients gifted me this book years ago because I had such a bad attitude about running. He's like, you need to read this guy. And he was right. And that mindset has really changed the human being that I am. So I just want to talk about a few of the principles. We're just going to go through 3 of why this is so important and why it matters so much in my life. And the first is having something worth fighting for. There is a palpable difference in the energy the moment before I sign up for an Ironman and the moment after. Things start aligning. I know where I am going to be at this date, at this time, 6 months to a year from now. Sometimes we sign up like even a year in advance. And I know that I am putting, I'm 100% invested in being there. And because it is such a healthy goal and such a healthy purpose, I don't even know, just it's purpose, right? Like there are many different kinds of it, but because I want to do something that I'm barely capable of doing. So the people who win Ironman races do it in less than 8 hours. It usually takes me about 16. I'm learning how to do this. I'm a newbie at the sport. I'm getting ready to do my 3rd one, but I'm a newbie at the sport, and I've been learning a lot in recent years about how to be better and how to be stronger, and it's not easy. Like I thought I knew how to swim, bike, and run before I started doing triathlon, and the longer I'm in it, the more I realize that I don't know this. Like, oh, I could do this a little bit better. I could do this a little bit better. So having something worth fighting for means that it prioritizes my entire life. It makes it 100% clear what I'm going to have for breakfast today. It makes it 100% clear what my exercise routine is going to be for the day. It makes it 100% clear what my bedtime is going to be. It makes it 100% clear that, oh, that little niggling ache or pain that I've got in my knee or my back or my shoulder or my neck has to get fixed, because it is horrible to be on a bike and having, my neck lock up or my legs cramp up, all of which has happened to me. Nothing is worse than the chafing. Nothing. That's another thing I've been having to learn too. But having something worth fighting for means that it changes my energy so that instead of being, how the aging thing happens, right? We get slowly ambushed by things that we didn't think were that important to deal with as we were living, or we had blind spots around, and then things start to come out of the woodwork, and then we have stroke or heart attack out of nowhere. If we have something worth fighting for, we proactively seek that out. I do my metrics on myself regularly in my clinic. I do lab work on myself. I'm proactively looking for the body chemistry that can help me be stronger. I love my health. I have really grown to love my health in recent years. The more I do this, the more grateful that I am for it, and that's something worth fighting for. So that's my number 1, is having something worth fighting for. And number 2 is having something to be grateful for. It is absolutely incredible how much good shows up in the universe when I do one of these Ironmans. I'm sure it's the same for everybody that does this sort of thing. Like how much support, how many kind words, how many, people, like high school friends that I haven't talked to in ages, are following me on the Ironman tracker. I've had people stop and pray for me in the middle of the whatever else they were doing that day because they saw my times were like, oh, let's pay attention to her. Both of my Ironmans were clearly miracles. Were 100% clearly miracles. So my first Ironman, my stomach locked up between the bike and the run. I'm about to do my first marathon ever at the end of an Ironman, and I can't even get a drop of water down without my stomach cramping up. So at that moment, my coach was there, and he sent the word out to some friends on text messages and people that were watching me on the Ironman tracker, and they saw that I had this really, really, really long transition, and they started praying for me, and oh my gosh, it made all the difference in the world. It's not that I suddenly wasn't in any pain and the skies opened up and the angels came down and lifted me and walked me right across the finish line. It's not that I didn't have my trials. I had my trials. But I was able to do them. I was able to get to the place in my head where I said, does it hurt the same amount if I walk as if I run? And it was yes. I was like, okay, well, might as well run. And that's become one of my mantras for life since then. Well, if I'm not hurting myself, if I'm not injuring myself, might as well just do what I'm here to do. Might as well run. And it wasn't even until after the race that I found out how many people were watching over me that day and pouring love into me. And it's such a cool thing, you know, like if you really want to see how good the world is, do something really hard. Because people are amazing and absolutely incredible. I've had so much support show up for me. I can't begin to tell you how much it means to me, and still be able to talk. So it's worth it, right? It's worth it just for that.